Eagle fans, get used to this. The Cowboys' kryptonite. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, King Dingbat here, and I don't know how you can't be excited. I don't know how you can't be excited when you see plays like this. Jalen Hurts throwing it to A.J. Brown. Get ready for a lot of it. Now, we're going to get into day one of practice in a second, but before we do that, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe for daily Eagles content, NFL daily content. You don't want to miss it. Training camp is underway, and if you've been subscribed for a while, just double check, double moonwalk check. Make sure you're still subscribed. So, the Eagles had their first day of practice today, and yes, the pads aren't out yet. They're not hitting fully, but to get those guys out there is amazing, man. Football season is finally here, and there are a few things in today's practice I kind of want to talk about. But before we do that, we got to talk about some moves that were made by the Philadelphia Eagles today. As we know yesterday, the Eagles signed tight end Jaden Graham. We're going to see what he does if he makes the team. Well, they also went ahead today, signed wide receiver Lance Lenoir and center Cameron Tom. Now, here's what the write-ups are on both these guys. Lance Lenoir, it says the Eagles have signed Lance Lenoir, a 27-year-old, 6 foot, 201-pound wide receiver. Lenoir began his NFL career in Dallas Stinks, spending most of the 2017-2018 season on the Cowboys practice squad. He suffered a knee injury August 2019 and spent the following season on injured reserve. In 2020, Lenoir spent part of the time with the Seattle practice squad, and in 2021, he signed with Buffalo through training camp. Most recently, he played spring football with the USFL Michigan Panthers, leading the team with 52 receptions, 484 yards. He is wearing number 34. So, camp body. Then you get the center. Eagles have signed 6'4", 300-pound center Cameron Tom. Big dude. Tom began his NFL career in 2017 New Orleans, spending most of the 2017-2018 seasons on the Saints practice squad before suffering an injury 2019. He spent that season on injured reserve before recovering and earning a spot with the Saints in 2020, again spending much of his season on the practice squad. Cameron signed with Miami in 2021, splitting time between the practice squad and the active roster. He'll wear 66. So he's a journeyman. These are two guys who are basically camp roster bodies. I don't expect much from them at all, but the Eagles fill the roster spot, or the roster, with those guys. Now, as far as practice went today, here was the practice report. Will not practice, didn't practice today. Jason Kelsey, COVID progression. Zach Pascal, shut up, dog. Illness. Carrick Wheatfall, COVID progression. Limited. Fletcher Cox, COVID progression. Anthony Harris, COVID progression. And I don't think really Fletcher Cox and Anthony Harris really did too much at all whatsoever. COVID's going around. What do you say? I had it 2 weeks ago. It was brutal. It was brutal. But the Eagles, for the most part, are a pretty healthy team. I mean, they're pretty healthy. And speaking of health, there's one guy that I really want to talk about that I feel like I haven't talked about enough this year that was at practice and was making an immediate impact, and that is Brandon Graham. Okay? Because Brandon Graham brings an energy, a leadership to that defense that when he got hurt last year was sorely missed. And you can tell just by what people were saying with that defense on the field, with him on the field. It makes a huge difference. He is a big, big part of this defense. And he was saying that he has no limitations, no restrictions on his body, coming back from the Achilles. He actually said that the Achilles wasn't as bad to recover from than his knee, which is surprising because most people fear the Achilles. Even he was talking about it. That's the one injury you always hear you don't want to get, the Achilles. But he said he felt great, and it was a little easier to come back. He dropped an interception today. Hurts went back to pass, ball slipped. He dropped the interception, so he'll have to catch that. But having Brandon Graham back is a big thing. It's huge for the Philadelphia Eagles. It was also interesting to note that defensively, they were running both 3-4 and 4-3. We've talked a lot about how Jonathan Gannon wants to be able to give multiple looks, play like a hybrid type defense. They played both 4-3, 3-4 today. TJ Edwards, Kazir White got a lot of the first team reps. And here's the interesting play. But there was a play where AJ Brown caught a pass and TJ Edwards stripped it from him. We may be sleeping on TJ Edwards a little bit because we get Kazir White, we get Nakobe Dean, but we forget TJ Edwards was our best linebacker last year. He really came on last year. So, I hope that we continue to see TJ Edwards play better. And look, give those guys a run for their money in starting. But it was a great play by him, and it's going to be interesting. Kevon Wallace was starting with Epps at the safety. Obviously, Anthony Harris is out. Tart just coming in late is going to have to get up to speed. But in my opinion, at some point, I believe Tart will be the starter on at safety. So, we're going to see. Now, offensively, for the most part, Jalen Hurts had a pretty good day. He had the one ball that slipped out of his hands that we talked about. And then he had an interception where he was throwing to Goddard and Epps made a great play on it. And it was an interception. Sometimes you're going to throw interceptions in practice. Sometimes you're going to go out there and work on something specific and throw a bad throw here, bad throw there, maybe a few throws in a row. It's practice. That's what it's for. That's why when they were all making the big thing about Jalen Hurts, well, he had 10 throws, 4 incompletions, 3 interceptions, 2 sacks. I didn't buy into it that much because you never know what he's working on. You don't know from a mechanic standpoint. You don't know what he's trying to do. So to me, it's like overblown. It's a little overblown. But for the most part, we heard good things about Jalen Hurts today. Threw some nice balls. There were a couple. I couldn't keep up with all the Twitter videos of it, but there's some balls that he throws, a couple out throws. I'm like, what these people talking about? The guy can't throw. He got no arm. He doesn't have to have Johnny. His arm is fine. It's perfect. The guy's ready to go. Okay. It was interesting. The big thing to me that was very interesting today, also offensively, is I was dying to see how they were going to come out and who their first 3 receivers were going to be, who were going to get reps with the first team. That's what I really wanted to see. And what did you get? You got DeVonta Smith, A.J. Brown, and Quez Watkins. And Quez Watkins had a couple nice deep catches, couple nice catches today, nice throws by Jalen Hurts. Quez Watkins is going to take another step. He's going to take another step. I'm telling you, this kid's a player. I've been saying it since they drafted him. I love this kid. Love Quez Watkins. But Quez Watkins was lining up as the third receiver, okay, which is very interesting. A.J. Brown is A.J. Brown, one of the best in the game. What can you say? We are a lucky team to have this guy along with DeVonta Smith. Now, DeVonta Smith's route running is flawless, right? He made one move today where everybody watching just gasped. I think there was a lot of season ticket holders who were able to go to practice today, and everybody was just like, oh. And he dropped the pass. It was a touchdown pass. He dropped it. Great route, made a great move. Everybody gasped, but he dropped the ball. What did he do? He took accountability because he's DeVonta Smith. And he went and did a bunch of push-ups. Can't drop that ball. He knows it, but that's what practice is for. Get it out of the way now. You know what I'm saying? Get it out of the way. Another interesting side note I want to talk about is Jalen Reagor. Because I really wanted to see how they're going to treat Jalen Reagor. My theory is that when you got a guy that's a first-round pick making a lot of money, you may get pressure from the front office to keep him as a starter or something like that. Well, they didn't do that today. They put Jalen Reagor was taking second-team reps. Now, Was he taking second team reps because Pascal was out with the illness? That's what we're going to find out tomorrow. Or is he going to be on second team reps above Pascal tomorrow? Well, not tomorrow. There's no practice tomorrow. Eagles are a day off. You used to do 2 days back in the day. When I was in high school, we did 2 days. Now they do 58-minute practice, which is how long it was. And then you get the day off the day after. That's crazy. Anyways, it'll be interesting to see when Pascal comes back. Does Reagor stay up at the second team with the second team getting second team reps, or does he go ahead and go to the third team? Now I gotta say this: everything I heard today, and I don't want to do this because I've done this last year with Reagor, but Reagor looked good at practice. He was catching everything. He was killing the second team defense today. And you think, well, he should. He's a first round pick. I agree, but we have lost so much faith in him during the season that a lot of us have given up on him. And like guys trying to do, you've got to give the guy 3 years. Got to give the guy 3 years. But it's hard. But you got to give him 3 years. Got to give him 3 years. We'll see what he does. We'll see what he does, and we'll see if he stays with the second team, or does he drop when Pascal come back. That's what I want to know. I'm assuming that Quez is the third guy. He's got to be. Quez Watkins is a stud. Absolute stud. You know? One other thing I want to talk about before they end this video is the right guard position. Isaac Seumalo started with first team reps. Cam Jurgens was starting at center today because, Jason Kelsey was not practicing. So I want to see if they're going to cross-train Cam Jurgens, and I want to see if they're going to cross-train Andre Dillard. Will they let Dillard play guard? If they can do that, if they can find a way to get Dillard to be able to not just play only left tackle, he will be so much more valuable to us. And then I think cross-training Cam Jurgens is a good thing. If I was an offensive lineman, right? If I was an offensive, I might look like him, but if I was an offensive lineman, I'm telling you this right now, I would want to be able to play multiple positions. I would want them to cross-train me, because if you could play multiple positions in the NFL, you become very valuable to a team. So it's going to be interesting, but that was it. It was a 58-minute practice. We've got press conferences going on now. I did see Nick Sirianni and Howie, the little man, at a press conference before practice. Boy, they're friends. I've never seen Howie Roseman get along with somebody so well. I think that Howie and Nick Sirianni, my cannoli coach, I think they may be best friends. You know what I mean? Like stepbrothers. I think they may have a secret handshake. We're going to have to find out. With that said, I should be live today at some point later on in the day. Depends when I can get free for lunch. But look for that. And probably have a video later tonight too. We'll see. With that said, take care. Talk to you later, of course. Don't be a dingbat. It's how we vision. We're all just living in it. So when I was in Vegas on my way to Florida, one of the things I wanted to do was go to the casino and make a bunch of Eagles bets, okay? Problem is, I got COVID, could never go to the casino, had to cancel my trip and come home, okay? But there's a lot of bets that I want to make. One of them is the over-under wins, okay? The over-under wins is 8.5 for the Eagles. 8.5. You've got to take the over. Got to take the over. I'm loving that bet. I think that's easy money. Over-under wins 8.5. Eagles are going to get that. No problem. Definitely taking the over. Any bets that you guys see out there, let me know, because I'm looking at making a bunch of Eagles bets before the season starts. With that said, Denzel Washington out.